Hello all. Today we will discuss on HTML form. So where we use HTML form? Basically, HTML form are required when we want to collect some data from the site visitors. Let us take an example. During user registrations, we would like to collect information such as username, user email ID, user address, user date of birth, or credit card information, etc. A form will take input from site visitor and then we'll post it to a backend application. The backend application may be PHP script, ASP script, Node, etc. All other backend application script. The backend application will perform required processing on the passed data based on defined business logic inside the applications. There are various form elements available like text field, text area field, drop-down list, radio button, checkbox, etc. The HTML form tag is used to create an HTML form. Now look how to write the HTML syntax. Follow. Okay. Form action equal to script URL method. Set the method. Method may be get or may be post. Okay. And form tag, and here inside the form tag different types of elements like form elements like input, text area, radio button, checkbox, etc. Okay. Form attributes. Okay. Apart from common attributes, following is the list of the most frequently used form attributes like actions. Here is actions. What does it mean? Means backend script ready to process your past data. Okay. Second one is method. What does it mean? It specify that upload data. The most frequently used are get and post method. Okay. HTML control. Next is HTML form control. Okay. In HTML form control, different types of form control that you can use to collect data using HTML form. Like first one is what? Text input control. Okay. Increase the font here. Okay. and decrease the font here. Okay, text input field control. Okay, second one is checkbox control. Third one is radio box control. Three is select box control. File select box hidden controls and clickable buttons and submit and reset button. Okay, these are the different types of form control that we can use to collect data using HTML form. So we will explore one by one. Okay, now let's discuss on text input control. There are three types of text input used on forms. First one is single 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 line text input control. Where it is used? The control is used for basically item that require only one line of user input, such as father name, your names, enter your first name, enter your second name, some search box. They are created using HTML input tag, using just input tag. Using this input tag, we use single line text input control. Okay. Second one is password input control. Suppose in some form we also know what enter your password, enter your confirm password, enter your old password. Okay, in that situation we use password input control using input tag. Okay, third one is the multi-line text input controls. This is used when the user is required to give detail that may be longer than a single sentence. Multi-line input control are created using the HTML text area tag. What is the difference between single line and multi-line? In single line, we will enter only some limit of the text inside it, but in multi-line we write multiple numbers of lines or paragraph are there, such as example message box. We can write or put any or copy and paste multiple numbers of lines or multiple numbers of paragraphs are there in WhatsApp chat, in Facebook chat, etc. All these things are the multi-line text input control, right? Now let's go for practical for text input control. Okay, just increase the size of the font and here write doc type HTML. Today in sessions we use the Visual Studio Code editors. Okay, HTML head. Inside the head sections just write title. Inside the title just write text input control demo. Okay, body sections just write the comment, that is text input control example. Okay, here look how to write the input type equal to text. Okay, type of text and use label for name or first name just write f name. Okay, so I save this file form demo.html and now refresh these things. Here look, first name and name of the field. Here we write here. Why it is coming? Because what? I just write this thing, right? Label for first name, this is the first name coming here, and input type equal to text. When I write input type equal to text, it's so this is the text field. Okay, I will use two attribute, that is one is type, another one is name. Suppose first name. Okay, save again, check same thing up here, first name, name of the field. This is called the single line text input control. Another thing is label for L name, last name. Okay, last name, input type text. Okay, text, hello, last name. Okay, save this file again and refresh this page. Here look, first name and last name. I use the break statement here that break the two input field, like, okay, I use here, okay, I use here so that it break is first name input field, last name input field. Okay, another input field, that is password input, password input control. Okay, how to write password input, label for password. Okay, password input type equal to password. Okay, save this file and run here. Okay, label for password name is password. Okay, here look, this is the password. Okay, password look like, suppose I write 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is password, how it look. Okay, in dot, in encrypted types. Okay, I just use break statement. Okay, so that is better visible. Okay, here first name, last name, password. First name text field, so it is text, right, in password like encrypted or dot symbols. Okay, next thing is multi-line multi-line text input controls. Okay, in multi-line text input control, HTML tag is text area. Okay, how to write? Here look, suppose I write just label for message. Okay, message. Okay, message, name of the label is message. Okay, and then put here or just write text area. Okay, how to write text area? Here, look, this is the text area. Use the attribute like rows. Suppose I use the row is 5 numbers of row, and columns like 50 numbers. Okay, just write another attribute name, that is message box. Okay, save this file and use the break statement after the password. Here just write the another attribute password. Okay, put this break statement this here and run this file. Here, look, this is the message name of the message input field. Label name is message, that is, this is label name. Okay, this is what text area. Okay, this text area, row is 5 and column is 50. This is row is 5 types row, column is 50. Okay, I just want to expand this. Okay, it will be expand as your requirement. Okay, we can put anything. You can put anything. Okay, you can put multiple numbers of lines or paragraph here. Okay, but in first name and last name you have only some limit types of a text here. Okay, just remove here. So this is the demonstration of the input type like single line input, multi-line input control, and password. Okay, this is the password input control. This is the multi-line input control, and this is the text input control. Okay, so attribute we used here, like first like attribute is type. What does it mean? It indicates the types of a input control. And for password input control, it will be set as what? Password. For password input type is name is password. Okay, input type is password. In indicate that types of input control, it indicates the type of input control, and for password input control it will be set as password. Okay, another one is name. What does it mean? It is used to give a name to the control which is sent to the server to be recognized and get the value, and recognize and get the value. In multi-line text input control, we had used two attribute, that is row and columns. A row indicates the number of row of the text box, and column, it indicates the number of column of text area box. Okay, so we have already covered text input control, that include the single line text input control, password input control, and multi-line text input control. This is the example how to write the input type control example, text input control example, and password input control example, and multi-line text input control example. And these are the output of this input type single line input type control example, password input type control, and multi-line input type control. In multi-line input type controller, text area tag we used. In single line input control, we use the tag is input. In password input control, we use input type, and type is password. Okay, Now let's go for a checkbox control. Okay, what is checkbox control here? Checkbox control. CHECK checkbox controls. Okay, what is checkbox control here? Checkboxes are used when more than one option is required to be selected. In some case we selected multiple options. So in HTML, for selecting the multiple options, we use HTML checkbox control. So they are also created using the HTML input tag. But the type attribute is set to what? Checkbox. How to write the checkbox input control, and syntax is like input type what? Input type is attribute what? Type is checkbox. Okay, and name like math, value like on and math. Input type, suppose checkbox, and name is physics, value equal to on. Okay, and okay, these are the syntax of the checkbox control. Okay, let's go for practical. Here look, checkbox control. Okay, how to write? Look like input type checkbox, name is attribute, that is math, and value is another attribute, right? On, name is math, another checkbox is input type. What? Input type is what? Checkbox. Attribute is checkbox. Name is SICS, physics. Value is on, and physics. Okay, just save this file, and here look, there are two checkbox are there. What is for math, for physics? This is called the checkbox. Just use the break statement so that it break the line. Okay, look, this is the math, another one physics. This is called the checkbox, this is called the checkbox symbols. Okay, suppose I want to make it by default is selected. We use selected. Another attribute is use selected. Here look, input type checked. By default I want to checked. Okay, here look, input type is checkbox, name math, value on math. Input type checkbox, name physics, value on physics. Suppose I remove this one attribute and refresh this again. Here look, there's no default checked box are there. Okay, this is math checkbox, this is physics check. I want to when I refresh this page, this math checkbox should be checked. So what we'll do, we just use another attribute checked. So when I refresh this page, it will show what? Math is a default checkbox. Okay, by default is checked. So this is all about checkbox control. So here we use two attribute. Name is value, that is the value that will be used if the checkbox is selected. Okay. Second thing is checked. What does it set to checked means if we want to select it by default.